tasked with assembling an elite team to travel through time. All your worlds are about to change.
Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome back to another Legends of Tomorrow episode review. My thoughts on tonight's episode of Legends of Tomorrow, titled Last Refuge. And this was one of the best episodes of the show so far, and it's really starting to pick up. This felt really story-driven. Like this was what I want from this show. Using time travel, having a great story, having a great action, having a great dialogue. Like this episode, with everything going on, we have the Pilgrim going after everyone in the younger selves, seeing everyone's younger selves, whether it's a younger Mick or younger Sarah, her seeing everyone as babies. I loved this episode so much. We got more backstory for Rip. There's just so much going on in this episode that I absolutely loved. And to get things started, again, like I mentioned, seeing everyone's younger selves I thought was really, really cool. And with this being a time travel show, I wanted to see more of that. So when we see like a teenage Mick right after the death of his parents and the burning of his house, and we see his relationship with his younger self and him trying to communicate, he was saying in the beginning of the episode that, what happened to his parents was his fault. He was telling himself that, and by the end of the episode, he was telling himself, don't be like me. I'm you. Be better. It's not your fault. And seeing that. Even though Mick knows at the end of the day he's not going to change anything, you can tell he wants to try to at least instill some sort of, morality or goodness into his younger self. So I like seeing that. And then it was fun seeing a younger Sarah. And we haven't seen that Sarah, pre-Island Sarah, since season 2 of Arrow. So seeing that and then seeing a younger version of Captain Lance from Arrow, that was pretty cool, because Captain Lance was one of the better written characters on that show. Despite his alcoholism and all that stuff, it was cool seeing a happier Captain Lance, or back then Officer Lance, or Detective, whatever he was at the time. So seeing him again was cool. And one of my favorite things about this episode was the interactions between Jax and his dad. When he first has that scene with his dad in the hospital, when they're looking in through the window and they're seeing baby Jax, and having that moment with his dad saying he knows his son's going to go on to do great things. You can see how that's affecting Jax, and Jax so torn because he wants his dad to be alive, but he knows what it's going to do to history. And by the end of the episode, when the Pilgrim does kidnap his dad, and he ends up once they end up defeating the Pilgrim and stuff. And he ends up having that scene with his dad, telling him his dad saying how proud he is, and how cool it is to see that his son does become Firestorm, and seeing just how much, even though his dad wasn't in his life, seeing how much that affected Jax and how much he wants his dad to be in his life, that was just heartbreaking for me, just because I don't like getting too personal on YouTube, so. In my own life, my own mom passed away a number of years ago, and when Jax has that moment with his dad, and much like how it was for in the Flash season finale last year, when Barry had that moment with his mom, just brings back all those emotions for me. And to me, and the actor who plays Jax, just he delivers so much in this particular episode. He's a great actor, and I love his portrayal in this episode. Just all the raw emotion that you felt, and I felt so connected to his character in those scenes. And when he tries to warn his dad about what's gonna happen when his dad dies, and even though Rip tells him, time wants things to happen, but maybe time is telling you, you and your dad are gonna be together again. That was really just emotional for me, and I really connected with that, and I thought that was, again, one of my favorite parts of the episode. So, to get on a more happy and not so depressive note, what else? Just one of my favorite sequences in this episode was that last fight in the end, when they're all teaming up against the Pilgrim, and they have a young Rip there, and they're pretty much they're gonna trade young Rip for the safety of everyone's loved ones and all that. And when we see those shots of the Pilgrim stopping everyone, and you see everyone in their slowed down or paused action pose, that was oh, that was so awesome and epic. Finally seeing everyone in their cool action pose, like as it's like doing that sort of thing, that was incredible. I loved seeing that. And then ultimately, what gets them to stop her was actually young Rip just stabbing her, being like, "You're not gonna hurt me." That cute. Like I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like I had like this grin I have right now. Like I had when I was watching that scene. That was so cool. Just seeing how much of a badass even young Rip was. That was cool. Let's see what else. Just seeing, now that I have all my favorite stuff out of the way, just some other stuff I wanted to mention. Seeing that whole refuge thing for the Time Masters and seeing, this place where Rip was raised. And when we first brought there initially, you think it's like the present for Rip, but it's really not. Like you see like little younger Rip running around at that refuge as he's talking to his mother. And just seeing how you could tell how close he was with his mother. And the reminiscing, even though like that's younger Rip right there, they already share so many memories and they already have so many shared experiences together. To see them reminiscing like that and see them in their relationship, because we haven't had too much backstory on Rip other than his stuff with his wife and his kid. So seeing more backstory for Rip, I think, makes him more of a layered character, because I've had my problems with Rip as a character because he's come off pretty douchey in the past. Maybe that was more in the first few episodes when we're still getting to know Rip, but now that we are starting to see more layers to him, so I do like seeing that side of him more. So I liked seeing that. What else? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, this was a really great episode. One of the better episodes of the season so far. And it was the first episodes, since the first couple of episodes, it felt story-driven. Were they necessarily going after the whole Vandal Savage thing? No. But because of what they've been doing, and it's been affecting, the Time Masters' view of them, hey, you gotta, then they're sending the assassin saying, stop that whole team, just do whatever you have to or whatever. Seeing that, what they do does have consequences, and seeing that it is affecting what's going on around them. And even by the end of this episode, they have their younger selves, and they're on a time clock that, they have to get their younger selves back, otherwise time is going to move on without them, and, time's going to, pretty much forget about them. And seeing that now, they're dead set on catching Vandal Savage, and they only have, I think 4 episodes left in the season so far, so things are really going to start picking up. I hope they do. I hope we don't get any more filler episodes. So, again, with that being said, that's going to be it for me. So if you guys like what you see here, go ahead and hit subscribe below. I do review Flash on Tuesdays and Legends of Tomorrow on Thursdays. I have a bunch of other videos up on my channel as well. I used to review Arrow, if you guys even want to check those out. The season finale of Supergirl was this past Monday. If you guys watched that show, I have my review for the finale up there as well. I do review movies as well. Some. My most recent review was for Batman vs Superman. I have a spoiler, non-spoiler review for that if you guys want to check that out. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Do you guys like it? Do you guys have problems with it? What are you guys looking forward to in the rest of in the season so far? So yeah, again, that's going to be it. So until next time, guys, have a good one.